Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. I have a special guest here on my channel today. This is Nikki LaRose. She is a professional makeup artist and she did this beautiful look that I'm wearing right now. This makeup is for a mature bride, a mature mother of the bride, mother of the groom, any special occasion that you have to go to. The funny thing about this video is people have been asking me to make it for years and I was always afraid because I thought it's your special day. I don't want to recommend the wrong things or put the makeup on wrong and have you not come out right. But I felt more confident having a professional makeup artist come and do this with us today because I know so many people at this stage of life where they're getting remarried, they're a little bit older, you know, and you want to look so beautiful on your special day. You want to have all the confidence. And so having Nikki here to do my makeup is going to be awesome. So we're going to go back in time in a minute to when I had bare face, and we're going to walk you through the entire process of how to get this look for your special day. I can't believe you're doing my makeup today.
I can't believe I'm doing your makeup today. Also, I'm so excited. All right, so Angie.
Yes.
You have a very specific skin prep that you like to follow. And I always like to honor that if I have a client that sits in my chair that has like a good, solid regimen going on, like you do, obviously. I mean, you're Angie HotandFlashy, come on. Obviously, she's going to do her own skin prep. She knows her skin way better than I do, right? This is the first time I've ever seen you in person, first of all. I feel so honored. Look at how beautiful Angie is. But so, of course, you know, I'm not going to do Angie's skin prep. So Angie's got it down. Do you want to walk everyone through what you used?
Sure. My skin prep is, you know, it's got a few steps in the morning, but they're so important to me. So the first thing after I wash my face is I put on my vitamin C serum. And my favorite product is Timeless Vitamin C 20% plus E plus ferulic acid. It's a great serum that really helps to wake up your skin, it starts to hydrate, and it really protects your skin from environmental elements during the day, and it helps with anti-aging as well. So that's a great one. And then I do a mild exfoliant every day. So I use the ordinary 10% lactic acid serum, and these are very lightweight, and so they layer really well on top of each other. Then I use a CoQ10 serum, and that is another antioxidant that just helps to wake your skin up. It gives your skin energy, so it can do more and it can act a little bit, you know, younger and better. After that, a little lightweight moisturizer. It's usually the CeraVe PM lotion because that's got great ingredients, niacinamide, ceramide, good stuff. And then I always follow up with sunscreen. Okay.
And I think you and I have a few things in common. Okay. Any guesses as to what the biggest thing that we have in common is?
I hope it's sunscreen.
Close. Think again. Think bigger.
Bigger.
Something big and magical that we have in common.
No, I can't.
Am I stumping you right now?
What?
Am I stumping you? Really?
Yes.
Come on, think about it. Think about it.
I'm like going to zodiac signs. I'm like, we're both Leos?
No, I'm a Capricorn, but I love Leos. No, think about it.
Our tattoos?
No, it is not the tattoos. Is it the hair color? No.
No.
I'm sure everyone at home is guessing by now. The brushes.
Oh,
we both have brushes with BK Beauty, and what incredible company to be with, right?
I didn't get enough sleep last night.
I didn't either.
To be stumped by such an easy question, of course.
Yes, brushes. But the second thing I was going to say that we have in common is we both love this sunscreen. Let me actually grab it. This one from HaruHaru Wonder is amazing.
Yes, truly amazing. This is a Korean sunscreen, and it has the best sunscreen ingredients. It's going to give you the full broad spectrum UVA and UVB protection, and this doesn't irritate my skin. You know, I have super sensitive skin, and most of the American standard chemical sunscreens really irritate my skin. So this one I can use every day, no irritation. It works great under makeup, no white cast. It's like the perfect sunscreen. So we love it.
I couldn't agree more. And it lays really well under makeup, which is my biggest concern.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do a sunscreen testing video every year, and I test like 40 sunscreens. And 90% of them make your makeup wear off faster.
Yeah, or slide off your face, or they pill.
Yep. All those things.
There's so many issues you can run into with skin prep when you're including, obviously, which you should, an SPF, but they could be your worst enemy when you're putting makeup on top.
Right.
So
but I'm so glad that you use sunscreen. I've had my makeup done a few times, and they usually don't want to use sunscreen. And I'm like, I can't go the whole day without my sunscreen. But on the other hand, I feel like if it's your big day and you go to your makeup artist and they're like, the sunscreen is just going to ruin the look. What do you think? Is it okay to not wear it?
I have an unpopular opinion about it, and that is if it's your wedding day and it could be a make it or break it situation with your makeup and how it looks, how it lays, how it wears. One day is not going to kill you. That's my mindset. As long as you do well, 364 other days of the year.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
I think my viewers are going to be shocked that I'm saying this,
Yeah.
but I also agree. I think,
Yeah.
you know, it's one day, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Your skin, you know, it's
Yeah.
not going to get that much sun damage in one
Right.
day. Plus, you're going to have makeup on it, and that, even though it's not a sunscreen, it does give you the tiniest bit of protection. Plus,
does.
you're going to be inside most of the day.
Yeah, it acts like a barrier for sure
Yeah, it
against
really
the elements. So as promised, we're going to finish up Angie's skin prep, and that is with the HaruHaru Wonder SPF 50. And I'm going to lay this on. Obviously, you can use you probably use your hands. I use my hands as well. I just slather it on. I get it all in the nooks and crannies.
Right.
But when I'm working with a client, I like to just apply it with a brush and just wipe it into the skin.
I mean, I think, you know, in real life, you want to put on a 1/4 teaspoon of sunscreen for your face and your neck. So you want to be sure to do a lot. You know, you want to rub it in with your fingers so you get a nice even coating. That's how it works best. But, you know, for something like this special occasion, doing it this way is fine and probably better because you're probably going to apply a little bit less. So your makeup, it's not going to affect your makeup as much.
And one of the other reasons why I don't apply with my fingers is no matter what, no matter how clean your hands are, there's always going to be an element, a level of natural oils on your fingertips.
Yep.
And I don't want to add any extra amounts of oil onto my client's skin.
Right. Yeah, I actually saw a video where the makeup artist said that if you really want like the smoothest skin surface, not even to put on any moisturizer before you do your event makeup, because it just like opens up your pores.
And it's true.
Yeah, so if you are concerned about that, that's another thing that you could try is just not put on any skincare at all.
Yeah.
Because it's one day.
It's one day, but honestly, it goes back to the point of either way, less is more on a big day. Less is more. If you're going to work in layers and you're going to use multiple products, if you work in thin, small layers of each product and you really size it down for that day, and it's just enough to protect your skin, but it's not so much where your makeup is going to start to slide down. That's like the last thing. That's what you're ultimately trying to avoid on a big day, is your makeup having is it being a slip and slide, right?
Right.
You don't want to create that.
Yeah.
And that's also why I like to put the sunscreen or the skin prep on first thing, and then I go into the eyes right away because the eyes take me the longest anyway. I'm gonna actually apply some lip balm. This is the Tatcha Peach Lip Jelly. And that way, by the time I'm done with that eye makeup, that sunscreen and all that skin prep has had ample time to soak in and really be absorbed. Now, to finish up her skin prep, I always like to include some form of an eye patch. These are my favorites for many reasons, but these are the Skyn Iceland. They're a hydro cool firming eye gel. They don't slip on your face. They feel really nice. So we're gonna put these on, and then we're gonna let these just do their job while we get the eye makeup on. I drop them. Just look way up for me, Angie. And I like to position them. Well, the great thing about these is they're so wide. They take up a really good amount of width, right? And you could really use these also as a shadow shield. So
Oh, perfect.
it eliminates that fallout. That way we don't have to go in and irritate the skin under the eyes, clean it up with a Q-tip.
Right.
It really eliminates all of that.
Oh, great idea.
Right?
And, you know, of course, night before the big event, might not have slept very well.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep great last night because we
Same.
traveled. We're in his house, whatever. I'm super puffy this morning, so, you know, doing an eye mask.
You actually don't look puffy to me, but you
Really?
know, either way, it's gonna be nice and soothing. It's gonna feel really great.
These do feel great.
Yeah.
And I like it that they're big on both sides. Most of
Yeah,
the eye masks
me
are so
too.
tiny on one end and then big on the other. I'm like,
And you're like,
"No,
wait, no,
the
I need
whole
more.
thing."
Yeah, give me more. All right, so to dive right in, I have pre-applied some of my favorite concealers on this Painter's palette. These are both from Hourglass. They're 2 different shades. Everything will be linked if I don't mention the names. Everything will be linked and listed in the description box just for the ease of this video. So these are 2 different concealers I'm going to mix together. And I'm going to use my favorite HotandFlashy brush. It's the A505. 505. I cannot live without this brush when I do makeup. This is a holy grail brush.
Can I actually agree with you?
Yeah, please do. You know, I'm sure you're biased, but
Right.
it's an amazing brush.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I really developed it just for shimmer eyeshadows to lay them down so perfectly, but I use it for everything.
Do you? What do you find
it?
you use it for the most?
I use it for the eyeshadow the most, but I also use it for my brows, like if I'm using a pomade to put it on, because it's got such a sharp chisel tip.
Really?
Yeah, it works really great there.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, and I use it for lips as well. If I'm putting on like a little colored lip gloss or something.
Yeah, this does make an excellent lip brush too. Okay, so we just applied a thin layer of the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, and so this is how I like to prep most of my clients' eyes. I don't typically go for a traditional eye primer. I find that concealers look really nice because they give a nice smoothing effect depending on which formula you use. The Hourglass one gives a really beautiful, look down for me, smoothing effect to the skin. And it really helps to just obviously minimize its concealer. So it's going to knock out any discoloration, any visible veins, any redness on the eyelid. So it's really going to create the best blank canvas. So using a excellent concealer brush. This is the Angie HotandFlashy A506. Now going up against your concealer brush, can I just tell you, I lost sleep over this brush.
What?
Because I'm like, I want to make a concealer brush, but how am I going to go up against the A506? You know what I mean? It's a viral brush.
Right.
So I came up with the N16.
Yeah.
Very different. You know, it's not as dense. In my opinion, these are both necessity brushes, especially for the way that I like to do makeup and the way I like to do makeup on my clients. These brushes are multitasking. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And again, I might be biased.
Right? Of course, I love my brush, but I love this brush of yours for like doing really detailed work with my contour.
Oh.
Yeah, because my nose is really hard to contour.
Have you tried this with Yeah. It's so good for contour.
It's just like the right size.
And it actually curves to the shape of your nose. Follows along. It's excellent. We'll be pulling this back on a bit. What I'm using it right now for is the longer fibers of this brush. I'm going to use this to blend out the edges of this concealer so it really is seamless and it melts into the rest of Angie's complexion. So now once that's done, I'm going to go back to her A506 brush. I'm going to dip into a little bit of pressed powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury powder. Close your eyes for me. And we're going to use this to lock in that concealer and get a nice, really smooth matte base for when I go and blend on my matte powder eyeshadows. It's going to they'll go on with ease. Just locking that concealer in, that way it doesn't create any kind of patchiness with the eyeshadow application. It's going on a nice, smooth, matte base. So the blend is going to be really quick and easy for us. I do like to take extra powder and just kind of push it into the brows. This is something I always do because, you know, for us that use a lot of skin prep or they just use skincare in general. And Angie, I don't know if you get oily throughout the day.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I have a little bit of an oily T-zone. But, you know, being my age, the rest of my face is normal, but some parts are super dry, like around here, up here, I'm always flaking. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do get a little oily through the T-zone, so it's really important to like prep the center of my face.
Absolutely. So once that's on, I just kind of push it up into the brows.
That's a cool tip.
It's a great tip. This will help your eyebrow pencils, your eyebrow shadows, whatever your brow tools are. It'll help them to grip onto your skin.
See, learned something new today.
Right?
Yep. All right. So Nikki, let's address the elephant in the room.
What's the elephant? Oh, yes. Okay.
I have a little bruise here.
Yes.
Because I made the cardinal mistake of going to an event and going in for emergency Botox because I was like, let's say this isn't my wedding, but I'm going to this creator house. Everyone here is minimum 10 years younger than me, some 20 years younger than me.
Stop.
And my Botox was wearing off, so I was like, let me just go get a little touch-up.
Yeah.
Well, of course, my normal Botox lady was not available, and so I took somebody else, and you know what? My number one tip is don't get emergency Botox 5 days before your event because you could end up with a bruise.
Probably not the best idea.
Yep.
You know?
It could also, you know, sometimes it doesn't go right. Like this gal didn't do it like my normal person, and it made my eyelids super heavy, which, you know, my hooded eyes are
That's a terrible feeling.
Yeah. And so I feel like in my eye area, I don't really even look like myself.
Oh, no.
Just a word of caution if you are getting married or the mother of bride or mother, and you're thinking, oh, hey, you know, I just want to go get a little Botox.
A little top off, right? Yeah.
Or, you know, get lasered or something. Just do it in plenty of time that if anything goes wrong, you have time for a bruise to heal.
Yep.
You have time for the effect that you don't like to wear off.
Yep.
Like never go get it for the very first time.
Oh gosh, no. That is such great advice.
Yeah. I mean, you'll look better and you'll be more relaxed and you'll feel more like yourself if you don't have these things, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going on.
And don't risk it, right? It's not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk.
You just never know.
Yeah, on the way here, I was like, why did I even go?
Because you said you know better.
I do know better. I do know better.
Yeah.
But the second the receptionist said, you know, she's on vacation that week, I should have said, all right, fine, goodbye. But instead, I was like, oh.
You pushed it.
Yeah.
You pushed it. I've done that so many times.
Big mistake.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about this bruise because I'm going to be laying some taupey neutral brown shadows on top of it anyway. I did that first layer of concealer. I set it with powder. I'm not that concerned. It's going to just kind of blend into the shadow. If it were in a different spot, let's say like on her cheek or somewhere visible like her forehead, we'd be color correcting it. And if I run into something like that, which I don't think I'm going to, we'll color correct and we'll show how to do that on camera. But for now, this is just going to blend right into the eyeshadow, which is great. It's a win-win for us.
All right, so what are you using for eyeshadow?
So I'm using the new Makeup by Mario, the Master Mattes, the neutrals. Have you tried this?
I ordered it.
You're going to love it. I feel like this is such an Angie palette. This is a great essential palette for you.
Yep.
It's not overly warm. It's not warm at all. It's a nice neutral, leaning cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it's like a beautiful palette filled with neutrals. These are all great tones for you.
Yeah. I got the Ethereal palette.
Love that palette.
Yeah,
have you used it?
I haven't used it in a video, but I've used it behind the scenes. It's really pretty.
It's a beautiful palette for sure. So I'm just using my N13. It's my blending brush to start to lift and shade and define Angie's crease. I'm not going to go heavy across the crease. I'm going to focus it, look straight ahead. I'm going to focus it right above the crease of her eye. Angie does have hooded eyes, so when you're doing your placement, it's always a good tip and a good idea to have your client or yourself with your eyes open, looking straight into the mirror. You want to be able to see exactly where that eyeshadow is going to end up. So sometimes when we close our eyes, especially if we have hooded eyes, you don't know where that shadow is going, right? And you think it's going in the right spot, and then you open your eyes and you're like, wait, I don't see, I see a fraction of that. And it's a waste of time.
Yeah, because the hood really swallows up
It does.
all the eyeshadow.
It does. I have the joys of one hooded eye. So it's really fun making my eyes match. I'd rather have both and just double duty it, you know? Do the same look on each eye.
But I've heard that from people before who they have an asymmetrical face, they don't have the same amount of hooding, and they're like, how can I make my eyes look the same?
Well,
so
it's a lot of trial and error, right?
Yeah, but on the more hooded eye, you would bring the tone matte color up a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, you go above where the crease would naturally, where it naturally is. And that's essentially what I'm doing right now too with Angie. I'm going with this darker shade a little bit higher up. And anywhere I go a little too low, at the end of this application, I'll be able to clean that up easily if I need to. So I'm not so stressed about like going too low on her eye and going below like her bottom lash line, because I'll clean that up anyway. We'll dissect it. We'll take a look back in the camera and we'll be able to see like if the placement needs to be tweaked or not. So just building up the shadow very slowly. It's all about building in slow, small layers and not blobbing on a dark amount of shadow in the outer corner and then trying to overwork and blend to fix it, right? So it's all about layering it.
Yeah, it seems like eyeshadow, it sticks where you first put it, and then you have a hard time blending it out after
Absolutely.
you have a lot on your brush.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So for people who are trying to do their own makeup and they're not super comfortable with it, for like a big event like this, do you think they should just go to a makeup artist? Or
I think if they don't have...
I feel like if you want to try at home, you should definitely practice a lot.
Yeah, watch YouTube.
Before. Yeah.
Watch some YouTube videos and practice. Practice as much as you possibly can, because the more you do something that's unfamiliar to you, like liquid eyeliner, for example.
Right.
If you do liquid eyeliner for a week straight, by day 7, you're going to be like, oh, this is a walk in the park. I got this. I got it down. But don't try to do something that is unfamiliar to you on the day of a big event. That is not when you try things for the first time. That's not when you change your hair color. That's not when you do any of those things, right?
Especially lashes. If you try to put on false lashes,
Oh,
first time, day of event, you will not get them on.
there's no way.
So yeah, always practice.
Yep, look down for me. Now I switched to a smaller flat brush. I'm dipping into this matte beige shade, and I'm just gonna brighten up the inner part of Angie's eyes and really bring some light to this area. So give a great, you know, eye brightening effect. Obviously it's gonna give you like that well-rested look that we all want, right? So I'm just tapping this in, and I'm gonna grab a clean brush. This is another BKB brush. This is the 202 brush, one of my old school favorites. I've used this one for so many years. This is a great blending brush. So actually look straight ahead again. I'm gonna just add a bit more contouring in the crease of her eye with this brush and with this mid-tone neutral brown. So now we're gonna switch to
My all-time favorite.
you and me both,
love of my
okay?
life.
Seriously, I cannot do a job without this palette. It is so stunning. You probably heard us talk about this palette a million times. You're probably tired of it, but at least you know that we really do love it. So it's the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Why do you love this palette?
Because it's so soft.
It's so, look at this palette. It's stunning.
It's just stunning. And it's not too warm, but there are warms in it. Even like the shades of like this color,
Stunning.
It's not like a super orangey peach.
Yeah.
It has enough gray to it that it really just sits so naturally on the skin, and it just looks like a color that would normally be there maybe.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh my gosh, there's some weird colors going on.
Yeah,
It's
I
just,
agree.
the shimmers are beautiful.
They're
everything about this palette, it's my favorite.
Stunning. You can't go wrong with any of the shimmers, in my opinion. I'm going to go for one that's a little bit more refined, a little bit finer in texture. I'm going to apply the shade Whisper, and I switched to my N12 brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this beautiful, very neutral shimmer, and I'm going to have you look straight ahead for a second, and then look down. So I just want to see the part of her eyelid, her mobile lid, that is most visible. And that's where I'm going to place this shimmer. But if you have hooded eyes, my thing and my thought is don't be afraid to go over the hood and go over the fold and apply the shimmer there as well if you want to really get more impact, if you want to really see more of that shimmer. Right. Don't feel like you're stuck in a corner and you can only place it on, you know, like the small part of your eyelid, right? When you apply shimmers, what's your mindset?
I usually keep it below the crease, but I'm usually doing like an everyday look. So I usually keep it below the crease, but I think now today, since they're so puffy, unless I'm talking, in the moments I blink is the only time that anyone would ever see the shimmer. So I think keeping it a little bit higher, like you're saying, would be perfect because, especially in pictures, you know, your eyes are going to be open, you're going to lose all that shimmer.
Yeah. And
I think, especially on mature skin, the shimmer really brings a lot of light.
It does.
And it just is such a beautiful effect. And I know like a lot of mature people are kind of afraid to use it, go all matte. And, you know, and all matte can be beautiful, but I think for a special occasion, shimmers are just so beautiful and they just bring so much light and life to the eyes. And it really makes you look more like awake, makes your eyes look more open.
That is so true. And it gives you that extra something, right? It just gives you that extra fun pop.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's your special day or your daughter or son's special day, but you want to feel, you know, your best. You want to feel more confident.
Absolutely.
You want to feel like you're, you know, not the star of the show, but you want to feel great about yourself.
Absolutely. You want to shine.
Yeah,
you want to feel like you, but your best version, and you want to feel confident. And I don't like limitations and rules with makeup, but I don't like anyone telling.
Most of them make me so sad.
Yeah, same. And I don't. It's not my philosophy with makeup. If you want to wear something, if it's going to make you feel confident, it doesn't matter what the rules are.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
All that matters with makeup, and the whole point of makeup is to build confidence, to make you feel more confident, to make you feel more beautiful. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Right.
There's no point.
Yep.
If it's not fun,
agree.
Yeah, if it's not fun and it's not making you feel a certain way that's better, there's no point.
Right. And I really think it's all about the confidence, because you really don't want to be walking into, you know, the event and not feeling like your best. You really want to be on and project your best self. I know a lot of people are camera shy.
Yes.
Especially as we get older, you know. You're like, oh, God. But, you know, if you have your makeup done right and you look great, then you're going to be like, here I am. You know, and you're going to project that confidence.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful to see, you know, just women projecting that confidence.
That's so well said. That's so well said, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, you know, on your big day, or if it's, you know, one of your family members' big days, you want to just feel like you and the best version.
Right, the best version of you. It's all about being our best selves, no matter what age you are.
Yep. You know, I always joke around that I'm going to be the woman that's in her 90s wearing leopard and glitter eyeshadow, and I don't care. Right? I don't care. I will do it. Just watch, because no one's going to tell me that. No one's going to tell me that I can't do this, that I can't wear this or that. Yeah. You know.
I mean, you know, society in general wants to
put you in a box.
Older women, they want to put you in a box, but they also want to put you in a box in the background.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You're supposed to be invisible. You're not supposed to be drawing attention to yourself. And you know, when it's your special day, of course you're drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah, that's your time to shine.
Right.
So I just wet my N12 brush. I'm going to dip into a bit. I want to warm up this shadow just a teeny bit. I'm going to use the shade Sheen. So look straight ahead for a second. I want Angie's overall eye makeup to be very neutral, but I do like to incorporate some hints of warmth. Not in an orangey way, but I think that just little hints of warmth, even if you have like Angie's complexion, which, you know, you're going to gravitate towards more of like cool tones. They're going to look the most flatter on you, especially with your eye color, your hair color. All that. But I still like little pops of warmth with a more warm tone shadow. So adding this Sheen one, or the Sheen shade, it's more of like a warm champagne. And I think that's just overall really flattering for the eye, especially if you pair it with more cool tones in the outer corner like we did. So I'm just dusting this on. You know, the eyes really take the majority of the time for makeup looks. What takes the most time for you? What do you spend the most time on?
The eyeshadow.
Yep. It's probably the most fun too, right?
It is the most fun.
By far. Eye pencils are sanitized off camera, so I'm going to go right in with a very waterproof gel eyeliner. This is the shade Ebony from Makeup Forever. It's the Aqua Resist pencils. These are amazing. They're very long wearing, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to actually just warm it up on the top of my hand really quick, and then I'm going to have you open your eyes but look down towards your lap. We're going to tightline the inner part of your top lash line. So look down. Yep. Now what I like to do is, first of all, remind my client to breathe. So make sure you're breathing. Normally when I do an eyeliner application, I can tell when my clients stop breathing. And when you stop breathing, that's when the waterworks start. Oh. Yeah, we're trying to avoid that. So what I'm doing also is I'm kind of dragging this towards the outside part of Angie's top lash line, giving a little lift on each end, and look down for me. But I'm really making that eyeliner as close to her lashes as I possibly can get, because if I go too thick, it's actually gonna make her eyes, it's gonna close them up. It's gonna make them look smaller. We're going for the opposite always, right? Grabbing now a clean N12 brush. I have so many of these that I use in one application. It's beyond, it's ridiculous. Going back to the Make by Moor palette, I'm gonna dip into this deep, cool tone brown. It's not only gonna set the eyeliner that I have just applied a small amount on the top lash line, it's gonna smoke it out, it's gonna soften it, it's gonna do a lot of things. So it's gonna lock into place so it doesn't transfer, it doesn't smudge throughout the day. But it's also going to soften that line so it's not super intense. I want her to have defined, beautiful eyes, but I don't want it to be so overwhelming and so intense that it looks just not flattering, you know?
What's your eyeliner plan?
Soft, smoky, but smoky in a sense where it's just smudged out.
I feel like I love liquid liner, but I wouldn't wear like a strong liquid wing for, you know,
Special occasion.
my wedding. Maybe for a different special occasion, if it was like a night, you know, big party or something.
Yeah.
But if I'm getting married, if it's mother of the bride, mother of the groom, I feel like maybe I wouldn't.
You'd want to be more
That's just
soft,
me.
right? Yeah. And I think it's great to point that out too. Like if you're, for example, if you're someone and you're getting your makeup done and you're working with an artist and they don't know all the ins and outs of what you prefer,
Right.
so good to, obviously, you want to speak up. You want to let them know, like, that little key tidbit you gave me would have been great had I not had any idea of like how you like to do your makeup, but I obviously have like somewhat of an idea of how you like to do your makeup. That's
like
great
people
key
to bring in-
information.
Do you like people to bring in pictures of what, like a look that they're going for?
I'm open to anything, you know, anything that makes the client more comfortable and makes them feel more like, okay, they're going to be on the same page with me. The communication's key, always.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
Right?
The few times that I have had my makeup done, I usually go in and I'm like, well, you're the makeup artist, just make me look beautiful. And then, you know, they'll use shades that I'm not in love with, or
Right.
it just doesn't come out quite right. And I'm like, oh.
Oh,
So I
no.
think that you really have to, you know, not just leave it in their hands, because, you know, they don't know you. They don't know what your preferences
They
are.
don't. They don't know you like you know you.
Right. And
Right?
you know your face best. And, you know,
Absolutely. It always goes back to that.
yeah, you've lived with your face for all these years.
Yeah.
You know what
you were
like.
born with it. You know what's going to work with you more than I do.
Right.
And so any of that key information that you can give to your artist is only going to be helpful.
Yeah. I mean, and they're not going to be offended.
No.
Right?
No, it's their job. They're learning your face for the first time. It's going to give them more confidence, I think, to go into the application, because they're going to be like, okay, well, I already know this is a hard no. I already know this is a yes. And eliminate some of the stress and the guesswork, and also just some of the time that it takes, right, to figure it out.
Yeah.
So soft is the name of the game for Angie's eyeliner. You have enough eyeliner going on that it's bringing out your eyes. You're evening appropriate, but you're not overly done. That's what we're going for. Lots of slow building. It's gonna feel like it's taking forever. But you know, I think it's important to point out too, when it's a special occasion, don't rush it.
Right.
Don't rush it. You can rush any other day. Taking a teeny bit of the black now. Look down for me. Just the tiniest bit. Just to really pop those eyes. For mascara, we're gonna act like it really is a wedding day, right? And we're gonna do waterproof. My favorite waterproof by far is the YSL Lash Clash. I'm almost out of it. I'm kicking myself for not picking up another one before this trip. But we're here. We're going to use the last
going
bit.
to Sephora tonight.
And we're going to Sephora tonight. And we're going to pick up more, as you should too. So I'm going to get some on a disposable spoolie. For this part, I'm going to have you open and look down towards your lap. So off camera, I quickly just did Angie's eyelashes and her brow on this side. Now I'll show you what I did on this side just to save a little bit of time. So I'm using for lash glue, the velour lash glue. This is a strong hold. You can cry, you can sweat. You could probably jump in a pool and your lashes will not come off with this glue. So this is an incredible glue that I love. So I'm doing these one by one, which is why I did one side off camera, because it's very time consuming, using tweezers. These are from Tweezerman. I'm gonna have you look down towards your lap, just like we did with the other side. And you wanna just kind of place these right on top of your natural lashes.
And these feel so lightweight, like I can't really feel them on my eye. I've had false lashes before on the strip, and it's so heavy, even the lightest ones. So,
They do feel heavy, right?
Yeah. Can you, like, if you're working with a makeup artist, can you, like, request, I want you to not do a strip?
Absolutely. Everything goes back to communication.
Yeah.
When you're working with someone, someone's doing your makeup, you're trusting them. The more communication, the more little tips and things you can tell them, the better.
Yeah, my friend's daughter got married, and my friend had on strip lashes, and she normally wears no makeup ever.
Really?
And she had on these heavy strip lashes, and she just didn't feel right the whole
Yeah.
day. And then, you know, later.
So
at
she
the
didn't feel
reception-
confident, right?
Yeah. And they were just annoying her. They were bugging her eyes. It was
I bet they
itchy,
were, yeah.
red. And during the reception, she was like, went into the bathroom and ripped them off.
I don't blame her. I don't.
Like,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely sad, but if she could have avoided it, I hate to say, if she just said, like, you know, these don't suit me well. Look down. These feel really irritating to me. Can we do individuals? I am an individual person. Unless I have someone sit down in my chair and is like, I'm glam. I want strips. I have an aesthetic, obviously, but if I get someone in my chair that wants something specific, I'm gonna give it to them. Like, I've had brides back in the day. I'm not kidding you. I did a gold smoky eye on a bride and a red lip, and that was her style.
Well, exactly. Like, everyone has their individual style.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I was saying with the eyeliner before, you know, if your everyday vibe is that you wear liquid liner every day of your life, you're not going to not wear it for your special occasion. Because
you want to be you.
That's your look.
Yeah. And it's so important to stay true to who you are and your style on your day. Look down.
And so if you like never wear makeup, you're going to show up with like this full face of glam makeup, you're not going to look like yourself.
No, you're not.
So
and it's important to know that going into it. If you don't normally wear makeup and you're going full glam on a wedding day, you're not going to feel like yourself. You're probably not even going to recognize yourself in the mirror.
But even so, like, even if you don't wear makeup on a normal day and you go to a makeup artist, they can do full makeup, but still make you look natural and still make you look like you.
Absolutely. But again, what do you need for that? Communication. You just have to communicate. Gorgeous. If I want a softer look with my clients' brows, I always go for a brow powder, especially if they have oily skin. I find that just grips to the skin a little bit better and it just gives an overall softer appearance. And then I finish it with a tinted brow gel. So I'm dipping in between platinum and flaxen with my N11 brush. The key here is just not to go heavy. I don't want to weigh down Angie's eyes. I want to just define them and really shape the brows, but in a soft way. So lightly shading inside. I am widening them just a bit. I hope that's okay with you. And I'm starting the shadow above where her natural brows are to bring them up, just to raise them up a bit.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's one of the ones that I always talk about in my, you know, how to apply your makeup so that it helps you to not look younger necessarily, but I think a lot of people just start naturally from underneath. That more closes down your eye a little bit, and what you want is like the biggest eye space you can get. So if you do it from the top, you're going to get more of a lift at the top of your brow, and it's going to help to like lift your whole face.
100%. Well said. I think it's such a good tip too, because I do also see people start their brow pencils down here, and it's fine to do a little bit of shading like I did just to like define them. But when you're starting it all down there, it can really lower and bring down the overall appearance of your eyes. And like Angie's saying, you want to get the maximum, especially for us. Like, I can relate to the hood eye situation. You want to get the maximum amount of space possible. You don't want to minimize it anymore.
Just to have everything to work to help to lift rather than drag your face down, because a lot of the placement of the makeup is so important.
Placement is key, and it's so nuanced too. Even just like going a little slightly too low, it can really make a huge impact. Even if you don't think it in the moment, when you look back at pictures, if you look back for you, you're on camera, and that camera picks up any little thing, right?
Right.
And especially for like a big day, like a wedding day or a special occasion, the camera is going to pick up those little things, believe it or not. And those little things add up. We have reached the part in this tutorial where we're going to take this off. And we're going to see where we're at. I'm going to clean up probably just a touch. Nothing crazy. How are your under eyes feeling?
Good.
Now that we have fully let Angie's skin prep soak in, it is fully absorbed, I am going to go in with a little bit of what I pull out when I'm doing a special occasion makeup look. And this is not for every day. This is not something necessary for every day by any means. It is a great primer for when you're going to be taking a lot of photos or in video. So it's the Smashbox. It's the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. Small amount, same brush that I used to apply her SPF, and I'm going to focus this in the T-zone. I'm not going to put this all over. It's not necessary. I'm focusing on the areas that have larger pores. So that's usually the T-zone, right? So a little bit in the center of the forehead just for a smoothing effect is great. Straight down the nose is always a must. Along the side of our smile, and of course on the apples of the cheeks where we do have, typically speaking, larger pores. So to smooth this area, get it really good and prepped, and a little bit on the chin. And again, less is truly more, right? Would you say that's the same thing?
Yep. I mean, when I first started using makeup, you know, you hear about primer and I thought, oh, great. I have enlarged pores. I have all this like ripply wrinkles and stuff. Primer is just going to fill it in. It's going to make my skin look
It's going to be a miracle,
smooth.
right?
It doesn't do that.
Yeah. So for Angie's complexion, for her foundation, one of my go-tos that I use professionally on a regular basis is the Dior Backstage Face and Body. Now, Angie loves the Dior Forever. Matte. It's a more matte, yes. I love that too, but I want to switch it up. I don't want to use the same thing that Angie always uses because then, you know, she's not switching it up at all, right? So I'm going to keep it true to what I like to use. This is a very long wear foundation that's also heat, sweat, humidity resistant. It's extremely long wearing. It's great for an all day wear. So I mixed a few shades on my painter's palette to customize for Angie, and we're going to dip into both shades with my N17 brush. And I like to start in the center of the face and work my way out. Angie has such gorgeous skin. You do, you have stunning skin. So a little bit is gonna go a long way. So when you're doing a special occasion, and especially if you have your hair up for the special occasion. Now Angie's gonna have her hair down. I'm not gonna bombard her ears with a ton of product and foundation, but just a little quick tip. If you are gonna be wearing your hair back or even just tucked behind the ears, don't forget the ears. They can get really red very quickly. I know firsthand, my ears get red with anything. If the wind blows them the wrong way, they turn red. Definitely do not forget your ears on a special occasion, and always bring it down your neck.
Yeah,
bring your foundation down your neck.
Line right here where your makeup stops.
No.
And I always, even on day-to-day, everyday makeup, I always put on like my earlobes because they're always red.
Yeah. Gotta be seamless. Should be one color throughout the entirety.
That's one of the biggest tells if you don't normally wear makeup.
Yeah.
If people come and they see you and your face is all made up, but then your ears are red or it stops right here and your neck is
100%, right?
You know, a different color.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you don't want people leaving your event being like, oh, her makeup was beautiful. You know,
you want people to be like, God, she is gorgeous.
She would look great today.
She was radiant. She was glowing. Now, you do not have dark circles.
No.
At all. You are consider yourself one of the luckiest people in America to not have dark circles. So that eliminates one whole layer of product that we can avoid under the eyes. And the less you can put under your eyes, the better because of creasing. And you know what? Here's the thing about makeup. If you're going to wear makeup on your eyes, some form of creasing is inevitable. Makeup is not magic. It's not going to grant all your wishes. It just isn't. So you kind of have to like pick your poison, right? So do like you want coverage under your eyes, and you're okay with a little bit of creasing. That's going to happen throughout the day. We're human. We express a lot.
Right. And, you know, plus in events like this, less is always more. So especially under the eyes, if you have dark circles, I find that, you know, a lot of people, they look in their close-up mirror and then they keep piling it on because they're like,
they need that perspective.
But you have to step away from the mirror, get
100%.
like 3 or 4 feet away from your mirror and look at just a regular, not a magnifying mirror. And then you'll see that you have the coverage that you need with much, much less.
Yeah.
And it's more like just blending the colors out, not completely covering every little bit.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Less is just more. We're gonna do some sculpting, and we're gonna use something that's a little bit more cool toned so it doesn't look or appear too orange on Angie's complexion. So for that, I'm using the She Sculpted. It's a duo from Patrick Ta. I'm gonna use the cream, and I'm gonna bust out one of my favorite Angie brushes. It's the A507. If you don't have this brush, you are really missing out on an easy way to apply a lot of cream products. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna start in this, I'm gonna tuck your hair a little bit, and we're just gonna do some soft sculpting. Nothing harsh, nothing too intense. We're not trying to go for like a full-on contoured look, but I am trying to just sculpt Angie's cheeks a little bit and bring them out even more. It's all about bringing out what she has, and I'm going above her cheekbone. I'm not going underneath. I'm not trying to do that. That would actually, in my opinion, that would drag down the appearance of her cheeks. So I'm going actually on top of the bone itself, right here, right where you can feel it. And just tapping this on, tucking it into the hair. If she had any lighter hair, I'd be really, really careful with not getting this product into her hairline, but
I think, you know, a lot of the age-old advice that we've all been told about how to apply our contour and our blush, that thing about like making the fish face and putting it in there, it really needs to go because everything needs to go higher than you think it does.
Yes, it does need to go. I'm so happy you said that.
Plus, you shouldn't be like making those because that just
talk about wear and tear. Right? Wear and tear, yeah.
And it makes you put your makeup in all the wrong places. And so, like when we were talking about lifting the face before, putting everything just a little bit higher than you normally would is such a great trick for a special occasion.
For blush,
really
right?
Lift
everything.
The whole cheek.
Such a good tip.
Yep. And then you just put a little bit down here, right?
Yep.
So contouring the jawline is really important because as we get older, you know, you get a little sagging there.
Get jowls.
Place to put it a little higher. So where you have like the sagging here, the jowl, you would want to just put it a little bit higher there.
Such a good tip. I'll maybe look this way for a bit. Now we're going to switch back to my N16 brush. This is my concealer brush. I love that Angie uses this for nose contour. This is a brush that I also designed with nose contour in mind. So I'm going to dip into that cream product. And what this is great for is sculpting and shading the nose. So I like to take the longer fibers of the brush and just kind of sculpt into where the beginning of the brow is, just to kind of connect it so it's not so disconnected. I'm going to do a little scoop underneath on the very tip of her nose. This gives a little subtle boop, little boop, lift up. You do this?
I also do one like across right above there.
Right here, yep. It's a great spot. Also adds to the button effect, the button illusion, right? Yeah.
Yes, because I do not have a button nose.
Oh, you will after this.
I know, I love that.
But less is more with contour as well. You do not want to see visible, you don't want to see visible contour on your nose.
No.
In fact, there's nothing less flattering than that.
But it's so surprising what a difference nose contour can make in the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And
100%.
Sometimes you put it on, you feel like, does my nose look brown?
Yeah, right?
Once you get to look at it all in the pictures, it all just blends together and, you know, just really
comes together.
To accentuate the parts of your features that are good and you can improve your features.
Yeah, 100%. So I am taking Angie, well, one of my favorite concealers as well, but Angie's favorite concealer. It's the Lancome Tinty Doll All Over Concealer. You wear the shade 215. This is what I'm applying right now. Same N16 brush. I'm just tapping this in the inner corner of her eye. And I'm being careful not to go too close up to her bottom lash line because that is where we experience the most creasing. And also you just don't need it there. We're gonna put some eyeshadow there anyway to kind of minimize and soften and define that area of the eye anyway. So I don't wanna bring this concealer too far up because there's just no point.
Now when you were talking about concealers creasing before, the reason this is my favorite is because it creases the least.
The least, yeah. So I really like to take my time with concealer under the eyes. This is a really important part of the makeup application because it can go very bad very quickly.
So are you doing more light layers, kind of like
light layers, building it up,
Okay.
Letting those layers dry in between is really important. And I'm also going to really go very, very light in the center part of under her eyes because first of all, you don't need the coverage. You just need I'm just going to do a little wash of it. And then my biggest tip is I like to let this dry down for a while and let it do its thing and let it crease where it's going to crease. And then I'll go back to it. Yep. I'm going to take a bit more of it and just highlight the center of her forehead. And then we're going to go straight down.
Make that nose look straight.
Bridge of the nose.
The poor thing.
I'm actually going to switch to your brush for this because with your brush I can get a really sharp line. So teeny bit on the top of her chin. All Angie approved spots. Love it. Like, yep, that's I do a little extra right where we get very red.
Very red under there.
Yeah, we all do. And then we're gonna let that dry down, do its thing. We're gonna add some blush now. For blush, I am a cream blush girl all the way, through and through. I do like to set it with powder blush if it's a special occasion. So I'm starting with a cream blush from Youngblood Cosmetics. This is the shade Mulberry. Now first, I like to warm it up on the top of my hand. This is my painter's palette. Nothing wrong with that. And actually the warmth in my hand is really gonna be, it's gonna work in our favor because it's gonna help to just warm up the product. Then I like to take the N17. This is the brush I use for her foundation. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna pre-blend it into my brush and do all the blending, all the hard work I'm gonna do ahead of time. So that way when it hits Angie's skin, it's already pre-blended and it's just gonna melt into her complexion. So I like to go a lot higher with the blush than you probably would feel is natural.
But it looks so good.
It looks so beautiful.
I've actually been putting it almost like up into my concealer right next to my eye.
Yeah, you'll hear me in a bit, have you look up, yeah.
I feel like that white concealer swatch that people used to do.
It's not cute.
It really
cute.
Doesn't look good. Yes, all the way up to that eyeball. I like that. That's how I've been doing it lately.
Yeah, it's so fresh.
Yeah.
It's so youthful.
And again, it does that lifting.
So cream blushes, I just feel blend so effortlessly into the skin. They really blend into your skin rather than sit on top.
And even they make your foundation look more natural.
They do.
Sitting on top.
They do. You know,
when people are looking at you, like I said before, you don't want them to see your makeup. And that's the spot that they're mainly looking is around your eyes, at your cheeks when you're smiling, because you're smiling at everyone.
Yep.
And
you're smiling a lot. Yeah.
Using a cream blush really just makes the makeup more melt into your skin and become one with your skin. 100%
melt into the skin. Now I love to take whatever's left over and just, even though we have that highlight baking in there, this just gives that less makeup-y look to any makeup application. If you just use a little bit across the nose, it's so cute, it's so youthful, so fresh.
And up there on the bridge is a good place.
Yeah, I also like to do a little bit across the forehead.
Yeah, because where we tend to get red is more around the nostrils and you know, in here. So you want to
avoid that.
In here, you want to keep it up and on the bridge of the nose.
Absolutely. So using my clean N15 brush, this is my powder brush. This is kind of like what I use, almost like a beauty blender. You know, like some people like to finish their makeup with it and they pounce a beauty blender all over. This is my pouncing tool. So I pounce this clean across any areas that have more makeup than not. So along your cheek, under your eye, this really is going to push that product further into your skin and make it look more like it's actually, like it's not sitting on top of your skin. So it's going to really push it in. Blending in that concealer that I let sit and dry down and self-set under her nose, this gives maximum amount of coverage, and it will really make sure that it's like locked into your skin before you even go in and set it. Now that her under eyes have actually had time to self-set as well, I'm gonna have you look up. This allows us to really see where that concealer is gonna crease the most, blend it out before we set it. You have to make sure you blend out any creases, especially under the eye, before you lock it in with powder, because once you lock it in, you are literally locking it in. That's it. And you'll be so frustrated the rest of the day trying to buff it out, trying to work its way out. But yeah, that Tinted Oil Concealer is just, it's one of the best.
They have a new one out too. Haven't tried it.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. I just bought it.
Well, I had to pick it up. Oh, you bought it, okay.
Yeah.
Same shade?
No, the shades are different.
Oh no.
I know.
That really throws a wrench in it.
I don't know why they do that.
I don't either. Just keep it universal. Right?
Right.
Just keep it the same.
That's crazy.
Now time for the fun part. Powder. My two holy grail powders. Mature skin, dry skin, any kind of skin that just doesn't want to look heavy and overwhelmed. Any skin that doesn't have a problem with like oil. So if you're really, really oily, these are not my holy grails for that. But these are my holy grails for everything else. So it's the Givenchy Prism Leap powder. It's the #3 powder. It is super viral. It is a must-have. I dump a little bit into a little Petri dish. This is how I apply it for my clients. But then another powder that I'll usually use as an afterthought after I've checked the makeup from a further distance other than right up close is the By Terry Hydra Powder. This is more of like a refining powder. It's got hyaluronic acid in it. It's great if you have dry skin or mature skin. It doesn't sit in an unflattering way on your skin. It really just doesn't look powdery at all, and it feels really lightweight. It also has a beautiful blurring effect. So if you need to go into like any other areas where you are still seeing pores and you want some more refinement, this is the jam for that. I need a clean N14. So we're gonna go in one more time with the N16. I'm gonna buff out the creases. I'm gonna set each eye one by one. So look up for me. I'm gonna work that excess powder into the palm of my hand so there's just a tiny bit. You just want just enough to lock it in. And I really like to focus it right here. I'm gonna avoid this area because that's where it can cake up and just look visibly like it's too heavy. But I am going to pat a little bit around Angie's temple. I'm gonna place a little extra amount right here. And this is gonna kind of absorb. Think of it as like a microscopic mini bake, okay? Just for your nose. A little above the chin, light swipe through here. And I say slight. Now we're gonna do it all over again. Look way up, a little bit in the T-zone, because we don't wanna be a disco ball up here. And this also offers some nice smoothing effect too.
Yes, any shine accentuates all my pores and texture.
Absolutely, that's what it does. Going back to that sculpting palette, I'm just taking a teeny bit of the powder. This is something I like to do to just give the lips a little volume. Rather than placing just too much lip liner and going too crazy with it, this is a really great way to add a little bit of volume. It's like an optical illusion. Just a little bit. It goes a long way. All right, as promised, now that her under eyes are set, we're gonna go back to that Makeup by Mario palette. We're gonna use a soft amount of the first two shades. So maybe look up. You can't forget about the bottom lash line. This is really what completes the eye makeup look and makes it cohesive. This will also make your eyes look bigger too. So it's like, it's a win-win. Bonus, if you experience a lot of creasing this close to your lash line, this is an incredible way to disguise it. So I always do this. It's like a no-fail for me.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, do you use this technique too?
I usually just use a pencil liner in a lighter color.
And you smudge it out?
And I smudge it out.
Okay.
But it does the same thing.
Same principle.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to play with this palette. It is such a great everyday staple. I feel like you're gonna be using this so much with the I Need a Nude palette. But talk about making your eyes pop. This is just so crucial. I'm using a skin toned eye brightening pencil. It's from Makeup Forever. This is the shade Boundless Bisque. Make sure you're breathing. This is a must if you have red eyes or allergy prone eyes, or if you're just tired. This is gonna open your eyes instantly. If you're tired like us, it's gonna open your eyes instantly. Look way up again, breathe, I know. Just a little bit, that's all you need. Now I like to switch for a bottom mascara. I like to do a little bit of a brown mascara. This one's from L'Oreal. It's a waterproof mascara. Crucial if you're gonna apply mascara on the bottom lash line. Don't put a regular formula on a special occasion. And I'm just gonna do a tiny bit. I'm not gonna coat the lashes completely, top to bottom. I'm just gonna hit the root for a little bit more of like a sultry look. So I'm gonna have you look up. So I'm trying to get this as close to Angie's root as possible. So it's just enough, and I'm gonna take a little bit more, have you look straight ahead. This is a really dark, rich brown. I'm just gonna hit Angie's lashes a bit more with this. Throughout the makeup application, it's easy to get a little bit of makeup underneath the lashes because we look down, concealer hits it, and then they end up looking kind of dusty. So this is a great way to kind of revamp them, bring them back to life, darken them a touch too. But again, I'm not trying to overwhelm Angie's eyes with too much mascara. It could look just too heavy and just too harsh. I want them to be really soft and fluttery still. Beautiful. This is the part where I kind of go in and I fine tune a bit more. I'm gonna add a touch more blush to the apples and up high.
You usually use highlighter?
In very small spaces. This is a new one that I was influenced to get. Andrea Ali, she's an incredible makeup artist. She raved about this and I was like, in my cart. So I'm gonna apply this with a very small brush. It's the HotandFlashy 8502. This is an eyeshadow blending brush, but you know, brushes like this are amazing for pinpoint highlighting or pinpoint contouring, anything you want to pinpoint. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna apply this on the very top of the bridge of her nose. This is gonna add some luminosity back to the skin, some freshness, because we have some powder. So it's gonna help add that skin-like quality back into Angie's makeup. I'm also gonna apply this in the inner tear duct right along the side of the nose. This just gives a really soft, focused glow to the skin. And then let me have you look this way a bit. Just gonna tap on little sections right at the very top of Angie's cheekbone, right here at the very top of the apple of her cheek. To lock Angie's cream bronzer slash contour that we use, it's like that very neutral shade, to lock into place, because that is a cream, but we don't want to have it slip and slide throughout the day. I'm gonna use a like-minded shade in a powder bronzer. This is from Dior. This has a really beautiful smoothing effect to it. It's expensive. There's other ones you can get, don't worry, but this one is really quite beautiful. I'm gonna apply it with the same N15 brush. I just lightly dusted off any excess makeup. So I'm gonna tap this along top of Angie's hairline. And we're just gonna do a little bit along the side of her cheeks, just like that. A teeny bit on the bottom of her nose. Very small amounts. I don't want this to look heavy on your skin. One first round of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is very wet, so close your eyes gently. Take a deep breath. Don't open for a few seconds, okay? We're ready for the lips. Took us a minute to get here, but makeup is a journey, and you rode the train with us. The N14 has that leftover powder on it. I like to take this powder and I like to push it along Angie's lip line. This is going to smooth the lip line. It's also going to blur, but it's also going to prevent the lip line or the lipstick from bleeding out. For lip liner, I'm gonna use Anastasia Beverly Hills Deep Taupe. This is one of my favorite lip liners. I like to take a clean brush, it's my N16, and I like to just lightly buff out the lip line so it's not so severe and it's not so stark. For lipstick, this is a holy grail for me. I've used it for what feels like decades and decades. It's from Chanel. It's the shade Mademoiselle. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you've heard me talk about this lipstick and specifically how I've loved to use it for special occasions and also for like mother of the bride for special occasions and for brides in general. It's a gorgeous, flattering lip shade. So I'm gonna apply this with a lip brush. This is gonna really bring out Angie's lips, but not in an overwhelming makeup-y way. And this shade just photographs so beautiful. It's so flattering. This is more of a cream glossy formula, so it's gonna be, I'm not gonna have to put a gloss on top, which I think is a little too much goopiness for a special occasion, especially if you are someone and you're having your hair down, if you're wearing your hair down. Minimize that stress. So the last thing you want is too much glossy product on your lips on the big day, and then your hair, the wind blowing you the wrong way, and it's just a mess. So this gives the lusciousness of a gloss. It gives the smoothing effect of the gloss, but without being too goopy, right? Gorgeous, Angie. Last round of setting spray is the heavy hitter. This is the one size Until Dawn. It's waterproof, it's mattifying. I don't know how mattifying it is. I just know that it really locks your makeup in. It's great for sweat and humidity. So I'm gonna spray all over, close to me. Don't open, give it a few seconds. This is my finishing moment in this makeup application where I took a step back. I got to see Angie from further away where I have a better perspective. I wanna do a little bit more fine tuning and pore refinement. So I'm bringing out my By Terry Hydra Powder and a clean N14 brush. I'm gonna swipe into this powder. It's really, really finely milled. And this is the area that I want to have more pore refinement and more blurring and also just more mattification. Because we never wanna look too, we love glow, we want healthy glow, but in only certain areas. So in the center of the face, glow can be misinterpreted as sweat. And we don't wanna look like we're sweating. We wanna look like we're glowing everywhere else except for this inner, yeah, right? You know, that area.
I'm all about the strategic mattification and the glowy elsewhere.
Yes.
Because literally it makes my pores look twice as big.
Of course.
Makes my eye puffiness look twice as big, wrinkles look twice as big. If
everything is bigger,
if
right?
Everything just magnifies.
Yeah.
So you gotta strategically mattify and leave the rest glowy.
Absolutely. So a teeny bit more right here on the chin. And Angie, guess what?
Am I ready to get married?
You're done. I could do your makeup all day long, and I probably will try to do it again at some point over this trip. But
after this, you're gonna have to come home with me and do my makeup
Deal.
every time. I'm
Deal.
ready to sit down and record.
call me. We'll set a date.
All right, guys, so here's the finished look. Doesn't it look great for your special occasion? And whether you hire a makeup artist like Nikki or whether you do your own makeup, I think the tips and tricks we shared today should be able to have you feeling and looking your best for your special occasion. So just want to thank Nikki so much for being here with me today and for doing my makeup. It looks incredible. I can't believe how good it looks. I know from now on when I do my makeup, I'm going to be like,
just call me up.
I need the Nikki effect, especially for the eyeshadow. It is stunning.
Oh, your eyes are so beautiful.
Talented.
Thank you. You're so gorgeous. Thank you so much for allowing me to do your makeup, and hopefully you all enjoyed it. I had so much fun.
All right, so that's it for today's video. Everybody, thanks Nikki so much for being here, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, you guys.
Bye.